This is my 2005 Mini Cooper S R53, and despite looking like a Hot Wheels car, this thing gets me to and from work every single day without fail. It's loud, it's noisy, it's bumpy, but it's so much fun. And to be honest, I can't ever see this leaving the garage. But it's been a while since we've actually done any modifications to the car. So today I'm going to be addressing the OEM seats and replacing them with a set of Recaros. My name's Alex, you're watching the Frac 77 channel, where it's time for a good old-fashioned DIY. Now, Facebook Marketplace is usually a cesspit of scammers and people who don't reply to messages, but this week it's actually been very kind to me. I managed to find this set of Recaros online from a lovely gentleman, and they're definitely real Recaros. Nah, they're obviously imitations, but they're in great condition. They're brand new, they were still wrapped in plastic. They came with adjustable rails. And separately, I also found a guy on Facebook Marketplace who was selling the seat brackets that allow these to be fitted to the R53 chassis. So that was really cool. And previous to that, I've managed to get some little resistors which we're going to need for the plugs that trigger the airbags on the OEM seats so that we don't get a warning light on the dash. So fingers crossed, I should have everything that we need to get these into the car. So without further ado, let's crack on. So let me talk you through some of the parts that we've got. Obviously we have the beautiful Recaros, brand new in a gorgeous grey leather with some nice white stitching that'll match the interior really nicely. Super happy with these compared to some of the crap that you find on Facebook Marketplace. They came with their sliders, so these are sort of a universal slider, we'll get those attached. And then these are the bases that will attach the seat to the chassis and the little resistors that we need for the airbag light. And because we are dealing with an airbag, the first thing we need to do is disconnect the battery. Next up, it's time to remove the seat. We're going to attack it with a T40 Torx bit. Remove the 4 bolts at the base of the seat so that you can tip it up and access the 2 plugs underneath. Once you have the 4 bolts removed, just tilt the seat back until you can see the blue and yellow plugs. Unclip those and unplug them so that you can remove the seat. And then gracefully take the seat up. Now simply rinse and repeat for the other side. Also, I do apologize for the state of the car. I know it's filthy. Like I said in the intro, it's a daily, but I will take the opportunity to give it a vacuum once the seats are out. Much better. All right. Let's test fit the seat mounting bracket just to make sure that we've actually got the right one. Okay, well, the holes line up correctly, but I can already see a couple of issues. One, there's this underfloor, I guess it's like a heating vent or something like that. That's fouling against the front there, so we might just need to trim that off. That's pretty useless anyway. I don't think anyone ever uses that in a Mini, so that's not an issue. The other problem is this bracket here is obviously for the seatbelt buckle. Now, I'm not sure if it goes on the inside or on the outside, but if it goes on the outside, there's not a whole lot of space. Fortunately, we've got a little bit of movement in these holes because they're elongated, so we can bring the seat all the way kind of towards the outside and give it a bit more space. But yeah, we'll see how we go. I think we should probably get that situated first, removed from the old seat, put onto this one, and then test fit the seats with the rails, and then kind of piece it all together from there. Let's go. Oh, one more thing, these plugs. So the blue one is for the seatbelt pre-tensioner. We're going to be reusing that. Going to plug that into the whole seatbelt buckle kind of contraption that goes over here. This guy here is for the airbag. So this is the one that we're going to need to put a little resistor into the end, secure it and tape it up. I don't want to cut the plug off because I want this to be reversible if for some reason we want to put the standard seats back in. But I spoke to the guy that supplied them and he said, yep, you can put them in there and just make sure they're secured in and it should be fine. So in order to get the seatbelt buckle assembly off, you will need a T50 Torx, something like that, and a whole lot of muscle. This thing is in super tight. It's taken me 5 minutes using extensions and all sorts of stuff, but I've finally cracked it loose so we can move on. We'll need to cut some cable ties and then kind of get the blue cord fed back through so that we can separate that out and put it onto the new bracket. If you had a rattle gun and a socket, this would be a lot easier, but I'm a little bit old school at the moment. That's okay, we'll get there. If you're a bit OCD like me, it's always a good chance to give things a little bit of a clean whilst they're out of the car. Many years of grot and grime sitting on this. All right, now we need to get this onto the rail, I think, and then the rails onto the seats. Actually, I think I've changed my mind because I don't know how far the seat sits left to right, so I don't know if it can go on the outside or the inside and still have room. All right, let's assemble the sliders, get them onto the base of the seat, get that sort of sitting on here, and then we'll get an idea of where the whole thing kind of lines up and when we can figure out where we put the belt buckle assembly. It's like the chicken and the egg, this thing. Okay, with the sliders in place, time to marry up our base. I guess, depending on your height, because there's a bunch of adjustability, different holes here, choose the one that's best suited for you, and you'll have to slide it forward and backwards to actually get access to it. Bolt it together, and then we'll see how that belt buckle lines up. Okay, trial fitment number one. Well, first of all, I think they look bloody amazing. But as with most modifications, it's not going to go smoothly the first try, so there's a couple of issues. One is this bit here kind of sticks out too much. I'd love to be able to move this rail back and use one of these holes. Unfortunately, there's only one hole at the back, so I'm going to have to drill a new hole so I can shift this whole thing back a little bit, and that will allow the seat to move a bit further back as well, which is what I need. Also, it's really awkward to get to that securing bolt with this in the way, so that will alleviate that issue. What else? Oh, the seatbelt buckle. Yeah, because it's attached to, you can see it on this one here, to the bottom of the frame, and because I sit really far back, we're going to end up with the seatbelt buckle sort of around about here, which is not ideal. I can twist it on its axis and bring it a bit closer to that way. It just means that that sort of explosive canister may stick up a little bit down here, but that should be all right. Apart from that, I think in terms of actually fitting in the car, no issues here. I think we'll be perfectly fine in the middle. and it's not really touching down the side there, and plenty of room down here as well. So that is all good news. Just a couple of little modifications and we should be good to go.
Tomorrow.
Well, since DIYing is always a bit of a journey of discovery, I've had a bit of a rethink and I've made a couple of quick changes. So quickly, the slide rails I've reversed left to right so that the adjustment mechanism is now a pull up, not a push down mechanism. I've included the little spaces here and here just to distance the slide rails from the seat, and the base is in the same spot, but we still have that issue where we can't access this Torx bit on the base because the actual seat rail's in the way. But to get around that, I've actually just gone to the hardware store, bought a couple of bolts so that we can access it from the side with the spanner. Next thing we need to do is attach the buckle, and that's going to sort of sit a little bit like that. And I've cheekily already done it on the other side, so I know it's going to fit. I'm hoping that this side is just as straightforward. So onwards and upwards. I've also had a bit of a change of heart around the next step, which is the airbag plug, so that we don't get a warning light on the dash, and specifically the installation of the little resistor / fuse, which you can just pick up online. I think I got these from a company called the S-Works. I've decided to actually cut the plug off the OEM seat and solder the connections onto the wires so that it's a more stable solution. I think with the way this car rides, which is pretty bumpy, I don't want it to rattle itself loose, and I can still reverse it if I need to. So next step, wire this thing in and get it situated at the bottom of the seat so it doesn't rattle around too much. So I'm using these little quick solder connectors, which came with the kit. And the idea is that you put a wire in both, you twaddle the wires together, you kind of put this across, and there's a little bit of solder in the middle, and you heat it up with a heat gun and the solder will melt and kind of connect the two wires. Seems to have worked okay. I'm not sure it's a replacement for good old solder and heat shrink, and so I will be putting some electrical tape around this just to be absolutely sure. But I'm pretty confident that there is a connection there, which is all we need. Now, if you're following along, there's one last thing we need to do before we can get the seat in the car, and that's trim that little vent under the seat. So this is the offending article right here, and actually the cut line is pretty much along where the carpet is. I'm going to go just a little bit further and actually trim a little bit of this carpet off as well, just to give us a little bit more playroom. So with the seat all put together, it is time to get it in the car. So what I'm going to actually do is use a couple of these washers as spacers just here over the mounting holes, and that will just get it off the carpet just a little bit, because the original ones actually had a little bit of a spacer on there as well. And now comes the crappy part, actually lifting the seat in and aligning it. But before that, if you're curious about what's lurking in the background, just over there, have a click on the pop-out banner in the top right-hand side of your screen to see the latest addition to the garage. All right, enough procrastinating, let's go. Are you in? Are you in?
That's what she said.
Oh, I think I've got it. Is that bitten? I think that's in the thread. Ah, gotcha. Okay. I wish it was a little bit easier, but the honest truth is it isn't. This seatbelt buckle is hard up against the transmission tunnel, which gives it almost not enough room to fit through the little bolt holes. A little bit of strength and we got there. All right, time to tighten everything up. Well, we got there in the end. The seats are finally in. Both seats are looking amazing. They're wired in, but I haven't sat in one yet. So let me go set you guys down and have a seat and see what it's like. All right, let's climb on in. Ooh. Ooh, this is nice. Okay, first thing, they're a lot firmer than the OEM seats, but I'm not sitting on the floor like I was worried about. It's actually kind of the same height really with the OEM seat in its lowest setting. And the position is awesome actually. Is that as far back as it'll go? Yeah, it is. Which is lucky because if it was any closer, I think I'd be a little bit uncomfortable, but let's just get that up a little bit. Yeah, that's perfect. Oh my God, I love these. These are amazing. All right, well, it wouldn't be a Frax DIY without an appropriate cinematic, so let's go.
Body of clay, shape me how you will. You want me to stay, but I'm built to kill. The sound of your voice, it gives me a shrill.
Well, I hope you guys got something out of that little DIY video of installing new seats in the R53. If you did, or if you just enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like and consider subscribing because it really helps the channel grow. But what's next for the Mini? We have beautiful new seats in the front, but the back ones are still looking very crusty. So I'm thinking rear seat delete. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. And if you have any questions, just pop them down there. I'm always happy to chat to you guys and answer any questions that you have. But that's it from me. I'll see you next time.